Good evening, viewers. I'm Scholar Sengi and thank you for joining me on another episode of Hotspot. On tonight's lineup, FC Port Moresby was invited to play an exhibition match against the Pacific Adventist University students team as part of their community development program. In squash, the Squash Nationals were held over the weekend to select a side for the Squash World titles in May. We profile young Lynette Vai, our athlete who's ranked number 1 in PNG squash. We also wrap up the Under-16 Binatang South Pacific Cup that was held in Coffs Harbour in Sydney. We got a bit of Tang Sudo and their junior development and picking in his squad. And as usual, we wrap up the show with the weekend draws. And let's head straight into our first story. And as part of their community development program, FC Port Moresby have been conducting coaching clinics for primary school students around Port Moresby. And during the weekend, they were invited by the Pacific Adventist University student body for an exhibition match that was held at the PAU campus outside Port Moresby. FC Port Moresby, in partnership with the NCD Governor, have been conducting their community development program throughout the nation's capital. An exhibition match was played between FC Port Moresby and Pacific Adventist University over the weekend at the PAU campus just outside of Port Moresby. The PAU students tested the athleticism and skills of the FC Port Moresby outfit.
First of all, we're trying to encourage football participation. Also the brand FC Port Moresby, and trying to get out to the communities and encourage people to get behind the team because it is the team for Port Moresby. Yeah.
So far, the club has been conducting coaching clinics for primary school students. The coaching clinics hope to develop basic passing, dribbling with variation of other skills that most young players are yet to master. The program was established to develop and enhance the club's players to interact with the younger and enthusiastic soccer players in aim to build the team's image. FC Port Moresby also conducts mobile coaching clinics, so keep an eye out for the boys in blue and white.
Who is your favorite team?
FC Port!
We'll go for our first break for tonight, and on the other side, we bring you more on the PNG squash trials that was held over the weekend, plus our athletes profile. If you've just joined us, you're watching Hotspot. The Squash National Trials were held over the weekend in Port Moresby to select a train-on squad. Eugene Pereira, PNG Squash President, will tell us on the pool of talent and competition that we have in PNG.
Edmund, can you tell us about the purpose of today's trials?
The purpose of today's trials is not a trial, it's a final selection for the team that we envisage will go to the Commonwealth Games. So the idea of the competition today is to do a final select team that will head to Glasgow.
Do you think that the same members of this team will also be part of the PNG Games that will be held in Lae as well?
I think there'll be more numbers added to this team for the 2015 Games to be held in Port Moresby. Yeah.
Now just switching to you, John. I noticed today that there were only 11 competitors taking part in the matches. Are you hoping that there would be more, especially in preparation for the Pacific Games next year?
Pacific Games, of course we will. We're hoping that we can get the squash into PNG Games in Lae in November. And from there, we still got PNG Open yet to come. Our school program is going on very well. to 15, of course, is another 12 months away. Yes, we expect more participants then.
Now, there is a big ranked, very high ranked match that will be played amongst the women's between 15-year-old Lynette Vi and Dorothy Boyce. Now, I do understand that that is first and second in the country that will be competing today.
Yeah, both players are overseas base players, and basically with that overseas experience, they show the preparedness they need to have. And as a result, they're the two top players we have currently. So that will be a good match next up. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Are you hoping to have more members taking part in the future, especially with the Squash Federation?
We got a good program going. The Waigani Sports Club, we have Port Moresby Sports Club, we've got one in Ley, Hagen, one in Rabaul, Kokopo. Like any other sports, we hope to establish more centers. It's a strong indication from Awa. Koroka as well, so you know it's a sport that it's growing, and hopefully with PNG Games on 2015 Games, plus we've got few programs happening this year. It's a good step towards getting more young kids involved in sports.
Now, there are a number of former tennis players that are here as well. Most notably the Moraves. Is it an advantage coming from a tennis background into squash?
Essentially, all that we require is the hand-eye coordination. So with the racket skills that they have, so it's an easier transition to squash. There are slight adjustments that need to be made, but overall, it's not a major transition.
What are some things that you would like to do in order to encourage more participants in the sport of squash?
One of the things that we're trying to get going is the junior program. The junior programs essentially will feed into the mainstream competition. So that is one of the things. The other thing that we're trying to do is get a schools program up and running ASAP, but all of that hinges on court facilities. So if we don't have the facilities, we are restricted by the numbers that we can develop. Port Moresby, for a number of years, we haven't had the courts. As a result, you can see the decline in the squash numbers. Only people that can afford to be in private clubs can be associated with the squash. But what we're trying to do is, when the facility is up at the tennis club, we will now try and open it up to the junior programs and the schools programs and the like, so that we encourage young Papua New Guineans into the sport.
One last question. Now, with next year's Pacific Games coming up, and of course we are now sending a squad to the Commonwealth Games, what would you say are the chances of PNG?
I think PNG stands a fairly good chance of winning. We may not win all of the gold medals, but substantially we'll pull up and win most of them. So the women's is a good indication. Men's is a good indication. So the women's singles, men's singles, possibly the women's teams event, the mixed team, and men's as well as the ladies will have gold in all of those events. So 6 out of 7 is a high possibility.
Edmund Pereira, John Combo, thank you very much for your time.
And that was President of PNG Squash, Eugene Pereira. For our athletes profile tonight, she's ranked #1 in PNG Squash and 50th in the Junior Squash World Rankings. Lynette Vi.
My name is Lynette Vi and I'm 15 years old. My mom is a mixed parentage of Gulf and Central, and my dad is Singaporean Indian. I grew up playing squash, but my dad started coaching when I was around 4.
What does it feel like to be ranked #1 in PNG?
It's a big achievement for me. I never expected to become #1 in my country. I was thought of dreamt and all of this stuff as a kid, but never thought I'd become #1 in my country. I'm training in Malaysia right now with in a squash academy in Penang, and it's been good. Yeah, training's intense and everything.
Where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years?
I see myself as a professional squash player and continuing to represent Papua New Guinea in squash and also help the development in new juniors coming up.
Do you have any messages for younger Papua New Guineans out there who want to take up squash?
I think you should try because it's a lot of fun and gives you an opportunity to go around the world and play squash. And squash is healthy. Yeah, it's good. So you should try it. You can also represent your country. But yeah.
Any messages to younger girls out there?
I think you should stay focused on what you want to become. Either you want to pursue yourself in education or sports or whatever you want to become.
We'll go for a few short messages. When we return, we wrap up the South Pacific Cup where our under-16 Binatangs went in to defend. Welcome back. Reigning champions of the South Pacific Cup, our under-16 Binatangs departed the country last week to defend their title in Coffs Harbour, Sydney. The second-timers led the Binatangs, which consisted of mostly the first-timers, to secure the cup for another year. Confident in their preparations, Coca-Cola under-16 Binatangs departed the country on 10th of April to defend their title as reigning champions of the South Pacific Cup in Coffs Harbour. Our boys tested the athleticism of the New Zealand Hawks in Game 1. Utilizing their speed, the Binatangs ran the Hawks over to secure their first win of the tournament. Coming off a strong win against the New Zealand Hawks, the Binatangs were pushed to the limit in their second game against the Oceania side. Cyril Baki kicked 3 goals to push the Binatangs for another win. Kata Siwi, Nathaniel Noke and Gilmore Morihara picking up a goal each, drawing the final score at 6 goals and 1 behind, keeping the Oceania side scoreless. The Oceania side battled through the wet pitch and once again put the Binatangs to test in Game 5. The Oceania side made sure to keep their composure and fight on throughout the match, determined to make each kick a goal. Kata Siwi adds another 3 goals to the level of football that the Binatangs displayed. However, the speed, skills and knowledge of the game put the points on the board for the Binatangs to put another game under their belt with 83 points to Oceania's 14. AFL great Brisbane Lions Chris Johnson, Sydney Swans Premiership star Michael O'Loughlin and legendary player and coach the great Kevin Sheedy were available to assist. In the 6th game, familiar opponents, Hawks were out to avenge their Game 1 loss. It was the Binatangs' accuracy and skills that delivered a win over the New Zealand Hawks in front of a packed Coffs Harbour International Stadium in the final game of the South Pacific Cup. Once again, the Hawks tested the Binatangs all around the field. Despite putting in 4 behinds throughout the match, their perseverance overshadowed the Binatangs' athleticism. The Binatangs defeated the Hawks 70 points to 4. The Binatangs are sure to defend their title with the inclusion of new faces come next year. And congratulations once again to our under-16 Binatangs, and we wish them all the best in their preparations for all the upcoming tournaments this year. We now get an update on the discipline of Tang Sudo and their junior development team and Pickaninny team. In preparation of the PNG Games to be staged in Lae in November, most codes have already selected their train-on squads and preparations are underway throughout the country. The Tang Sudo Martial Arts Club have now initiated a junior development and Pickaninny team to cater for the various age groups that attend weekly sessions.
Yes, I have a development squad. That's after the tournament, the development team the tournament from the selections we're going to do is the national, but the development one, as the question you asked me, yes, I have about good students who are in here in my club now, and some of them are here at the moment, which I have about 6 girls and about 12 or 16 young ones that I am developing them for the preparing them for the next coming years in the tournaments also. Beginning team, I have 2 small ones who are in the training now, and some of them didn't come, which I have about 4 girls and about 5 boys, small ones, very small boys. Yeah. Our tournaments coming up. Korean Ambassador Cup, which is coming up on May, and we have Central Provincial Selection Trials Tournament coming up, maybe at the end of this month. Maybe at the end of this month.
Tansudos em Gare martial arts le pianjis me hope some mila kama pa instructor na bami make on Tansudo club ko kotomu. Sej bame by me encourage mo gara yan plaman mere Antony Tansudo em by safety blow side blow mere by safety blow na side blow man come join me because pia persona pante line na at sim bagara plo knife na sa so me like them all man mere lo come join me especially lo mere o mas come because man sa fighting mere to us.
We go for a final break, and when we return, we wrap up tonight's show with the weekend draws. We've come to the end of another great show. A reminder that if you have any sports stories that you'd like us to feature on Hotspot, please drop us an email at emtv.com.pg or visit our Facebook page or drop by to second floor Garden City and ask for either Jeremy, Godwin, Lorraine or myself, and we'll be more than happy to assist you. Now let's take a look at our weekend draws.
The annual charity soccer 7-a-side tournament will again be a fixture, with men's, women's and open divisions all taking part. Still on soccer, and it's a big doubleheader in Port Moresby with a confident Eastern Stars taking on Admiralty and RFC going up against heavyweights Hikari. While in Lay, Young Guns Besta FC will be going up against the might of Digirala Itepa Morabe United. There will also be a double-header to kick off round 2 of the Digital Cup. Capital of the Southern Highlands, Mendi, will host both matches between the Yenga Mioks and Hula Woodmen, along with the Moresby Vipers going up against hometown favourites Mendi Murks. While in Kokopo, the Gures take on the Lahanis and Lay Tigers go up against the Simbu Lions in Lay. 2 p.m. on Saturday, and the SPPNG Hunters take on the Sunshine Coast, hoping to carry on their good form. And finally in cricket, the Tony Ellie Cup will be held on Monday the 21st of April at 2 p.m. at Amini Park. For all you cricket lovers out there, it's anticipated to be a big game between current members of the Barramundi squad.
Long Easter weekend this weekend, so there'll be a lot of sporting action happening around your community. So get out and support, or even better, take part. On behalf of the Hotspot team, play hard, play safe, and we'll catch you right here next week on Hotspot. Happy Easter, PNG!